Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gail Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gailcarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everyone. My guest today is Cara Nusinov, and Cara is a very interesting lady. She is a collage artist, a poet, a teacher, a leisure photographer, co-director of the Poetry Buffet Party. She's a poetry therapy practitioner, a certified laughter yoga leader. She has read poetry on NPR and other venues, and she organized the traveling polka dot poetry peacock sculpture anthology. Cara also conducts the Writer Within Me salons, where she prompts new and seasoned writers to write all about it as she peddles poetry. She's the author of Unrequited Loves and Other French Kisses. This is a book of friendship and love about men and women, both humorous and imaginative. They are fragments of wishful thinking, coming of age, then middle age experiences, stories of broken hearts or laughter, overheard bits from bench sitting in Central Park, Trafalgar Square, and other locations. And some are whispered conversations accumulated through the years and culled with sincerity. Well, you have my interest, Cara. I have so many questions about who you are and what you've done.
Oh,
Now,
thanks, Gail.
this book that we're talking about, Unrequited Loves and Other French Kisses, tell us about the book and how it came about and what people get out of it and that kind of thing.
Well, it goes back to a time when I found out that a lot of people were going through the same things I was going through, which at the time was a divorce, and people wanted to write about it. And since I was a writer and taught writing classes, I decided, I can help people with this. I can prompt people, and they can write about whatever is on their mind. And a lot of the poems came through that. So I'm basically a poet, but, I've branched out into other areas. And the book is just about all of my experiences and experiences of other people combined. And then I found out that dating as a person over the age of 40 is not much different than dating as a teenager. So a lot of people identified with the poems. And the book was published in 2010, and I keep making, it keeps getting published. So people are still identifying with the poems.
Wow, that's fabulous. It's interesting you say that about dating over 40. It's not that much different than, teenage dating, et cetera. I guess you go through the same traumas and the same, oh my gosh, I'm nervous kinds of things. And I was talking about two people that I know from my gym who met on the internet, which of course wasn't available when we were kids. And I said, how do you know? And basically they both said the same thing, that they had experienced so many people who didn't tell the truth about who they were and were such con artists that each other, and they spent, they were who they said they were, and they looked like who they said they were. And they actually spent 24 hours together, but they didn't sleep together, none of that. And they just, that was it. They clicked, and they've been together ever since. So it's just very interesting the way things happen, and taking today's, internet dating, so to speak, and how we used to have to go to a bar or a party or an event to meet somebody, and it's so different now.
Or dating online.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about your history, though, because I'm looking at a certified laughter yoga teacher, and a
Yes.
poetry therapy practitioner. Tell me what that means.
Well, I found out that there were a lot of people like me, both men and women, who were in the same situation. And people wanted to laugh more. You know, when you're a child, you laugh so much. And many times, it could be 80 times a day. And then when you get to grow up and be an adult and take responsibility, sometimes people don't laugh at all, or they only laugh 3 or 4 times a day. And so I went to a meeting in Miami, and there was a laughter yoga person there who was conducting a laughter yoga class. And I said, I can't believe everybody's laughing so much. I have to do this. I have to bring this to all the people I know. So I decided to learn a little more about it, and I was trained in Orlando. Laughter yoga was started by a gentleman from India, a doctor named Dr. Hadan Kataria. And he found out that when people laughed, they recovered better from surgery, and they just had all around better health. So he started this laughter club in a park in India, and that was years ago, and started with 6 followers, and now he has millions of people all over the world who follow all of his different prescriptions for laughter. So the whole idea is that, laughter is contagious. Your body doesn't know if you're faking it or if you're really laughing. So if you can just find a way to get people to laugh, they look at each other and start laughing, and soon everyone's laughing, and people overcome their insecurities about laughing in front of other people, for a half an hour. And then everyone feels really great when they walk out. So
and you're doing yoga at the same time?
Well, it's called yoga because it's just a way of breathing. It's a form, okay. Yeah, it's a form of yoga. It's hasna yoga. Hasna in Sanskrit means laughter. So it's really like a deep, controlled breathing. And sometimes it stretches some of your muscles, but mostly you can do it sitting in a chair, you can do it standing, lying down. It's according to your physical well-being and, what you're capable of. And it's just so much fun. I just returned from a conference, and we were meditating for a few days and then laughing, and it was just so much fun. And, we just can't help ourselves. We have all these wonderful exercises to encourage other people to laugh.
Oh, and I think laughter is so important. You're right. Absolutely, Cara. It is so important. And that's why I really, when I'm watching something as a movie or on TV, I really don't like things that are very serious. I really like, lighthearted kinds of things, because I do like to laugh. And there's so much going on every day that doesn't allow you to do that. So I agree with you totally.
Yeah, the nice thing is that you don't need to read a joke or even watch, a sitcom. You just follow what the leader tells you to do, and soon everyone is laughing. So,
well, now,
yeah.
But you also conduct these Writer Within Me salons. I mean, what are I mean, you've got these great names. I love these. The Writer Within Me.
You.
So
I can't help myself.
So is that only all kinds of writing, or poetry only?
Now I combine the laughter with the writing. And what poetry therapy is, I'm a poetry therapy practitioner, and it helps people identify issues, express feelings. It helps men and women and children empower themselves. They can transform life issues, and it's like art therapy or music therapy, but we use literature. So it helps you find your path in the world. We journal. I give prompts, and then people look at the prompt, and novice writers or experienced writers seem to be able to look at the prompt that I present to them and write a poem or some prose piece from it. And then I always throw in the laughter now at the beginning and the end to make people feel really good.
Wow. Well, you're the good spirit of the world. You're like the good fairy godmother, right?
Well, I have a really serious side, so I decided I need to lighten up too. And so I did it for myself and found out that I can motivate people to do the same thing. And I really enjoy it. And I really enjoy seeing people laughing and just lightening up. And, sometimes very serious things happen and it takes a long time for somebody to laugh again. And that makes me feel really good and makes them feel good.
So, what is the poetry buffet party?
It's basically the same thing, but we started in Miami in a restaurant, and my partner was Doreen LaCicero, and she owned a cafe, and we met each other at a party, and we both had broken legs, so we kind of bonded, and then found out we were both poets. And she said, "I've always wanted to have a poetry presence at my cafe." So I said, "Well, sure, I'd love to try that." And we just hit it off. And for 7 years, until her restaurant closed, we once a month had people come in, and we presented authors, and then people read their own writing, and then I gave prompts, and people wrote from the prompts, and then at the end we read the prompts, and during that entire time we were eating and drinking, so it was a lot of fun. So
Okay,
well, I don't drink at all, but it was still fun for me, so it didn't
no,
matter.
I understand. I'm not a drinker either, and I go to places and everybody's, having this wonderful time, and I'm drinking my club soda with lime and having a great time as well. So I certainly
Yeah.
understand. But let's go back to this book. That's what you're at the book fair, and you've
Okay.
got these unrequited loves and other French kisses. Now, why do you think that it keeps getting reprinted and it has such a following?
Um, I think that people identify with the poems no matter what their age. Like the first poem in the book is called First French Kisses. And most people, when they start thinking about it, remember their first kiss and their first French kiss. So people really identify. Like I have another poem in the book that's about being lonely. Another poem is about a man promising to call, but he doesn't. So people read these things and they say, "I've been through that." And, like when I read the poems, sometimes I see people grinning, or sometimes I see little tears in people's eyes, So it brings back a lot of memories, and some of it makes people feel really good, and some of it is almost therapeutic, in my opinion.
Well, poetry, I don't know, seems to be more of a feminine type of thing. Who do you find responds best, or you find it equal between men and women? Do both of them get the same thing out of it? Or, I mean, I know everybody gets their own individual experience, but do you find more women or more men identify with the poems?
Sure, we're touchy-feely, but I've had a lot of men come up to me and say, I feel the same thing. I've gone through the same thing. Men have feelings too. I've had a lot of guys say that to me. And it's true. Yeah, they do identify with the poems. And it's just sometimes difficult to get people to read poetry, but it's not, stiff poetry. It's a lot of fun. And it helps people with their own creativity. If you read a lot, then you end up writing a lot.
So, would you say, and this is kind of interesting because you said you were teaching some classes as well. Who attends your classes? More men or more women, or and do they come for the poetry and then they end up writing something else, or do they come just because they want to write and then they develop into poetry, or how does that come about?
People have come for every reason you can imagine, but mostly people come because they want to express what they're thinking about. And so they either get to talk to everyone who's there, or they express it through their words.